thank you so much for leaving our accessible seating open for those who may need it today. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. Thank you so much and enjoy. Awesome. This is the right amount of enthusiasm. I love it. All right. Before the show gets started, first, thank you all so much for joining us, especially you, Cash. Hello. All right. Thank you all so much for joining us here at Como Park Zoo and Conservatory. I do hope you take the chance to see all of the zoo indoors and out, as well as all of our conservatory gardens. The summer show just opened in the Sunken Garden, and the flowers are gorgeous, so don't miss those either. Now, before the show gets started, I wanted to let you know a little bit about what you're about to see, so you know what to expect and you know what to look for. So you're about to see a training session with some of Como's pinnipeds. Has anyone ever heard the word pinniped before? Woo! No, I got like one very excited person. Pinnipeds! Yeah! Yes! All right, awesome. It's a new word for a lot of us because here in the Midwest, we don't have any native pinnipeds just hanging out. You probably don't have any pinnipeds eating out of your garbage can or on your bird feeder. And if you do have a different sort of problem that you should look into. Because pinnipeds are very cool, but we do have some here at Como Park Zoo and Conservatory, and I'm so excited to share them with you. As our stars make their way to center stage, let's give everyone a round of applause and get them warmed up. Alright, so pinniped is just a fancy word for a group of mammals that instead of having feet or paws have fins or flippers. That's all pinniped means, fin-footed. And there are 3 kinds of pinnipeds in the world, 2 of which we have right here. My friend who I had swimming in front of me was Cash, one of our 2 harbor seals, and he's working his way on over, I think, right now. Ever so sneakily, yes, through the water, there he is. All right, and on the backstage, we have a couple of our California sea lions doing some training back there. So here at Como, we have our seals. We have 2 harbor seals, Cash and Killian, and our one and only gray seal, Wally, who I'm totally not biased, but he is perfect in every way, just like Cash. Cash is also perfect, and I'm totally not biased. All right, let's see if we can get back up here on stage. One more time, let's see how it goes. Yeah, there he goes. Let's give him a little quiet round of applause for that. A big hello from him. I'm so excited to have our seals up on center stage today. They're doing so great. So the other group of pinnipeds we do not have here at Como is the walruses, which tip the scales at up to 4,000 pounds. Those are big boys in scientific terms, so we do not have those here. But we do have some pretty fantastic, or fantastic, I should say, pinnipeds, and I'm so excited to share them with you. Right now, you can see some of the differences between seals and sea lions, so I love sharing those since we have both here today. They move differently on land and in the water. You saw Cash's absolutely spectacular, majestic blooping on the stage, or galumphing, a technical term. So they aren't able to rotate their hips like sea lions are. Our 2 sea lions, on the other hand, are able to rotate their hips and walk on their flippers, making them more agile on land. They also swim differently. Those big front flippers on our sea lions. A big hello from Subi. Indeed. Also up on the center stage, the really big guy is Nico. Subi is our 15-year-old female California sea lion and is our current Sparky. Nico and his extremely floppy hello is our 7-year-old male. We have another 7-year-old, our female Poppy, who is the smallest of our 3 California sea lions, so you'll have to be sure to look for them. Now you can see they are able to move differently on land. They're a little more agile, although according to Nico, maybe not as graceful. So that's a little different. Those big front flippers lack claws, and they use those to swim, getting to high speeds of about 35 miles an hour in the water. So they are incredibly fast, where seals use their back flippers. Sea lions also have, well, they have great wiggly butts. They also have pinna, or ear flaps, that they have on their heads, whereas seals do not. Seals just have holes where their ears are, instead of having those ear flaps that sea lions and ourselves have. Now there are some other things that I'd love to talk a little bit about, and that's how the show has changed over the years. Has anyone ever seen a SparkyShow before Como Harbor was built in 2020-ish? I got a few. Anyone from the way back machine? Remember some of the earliest? I don't have to give numbers, I've got a few. Thank you so much for continuing to join us over the years and for sharing Como with your loved ones. Thank you so much. Some things have changed to become the Blaze SparkyShow you're seeing today. One big change I know I'm talking about the past, so we just got to keep looking into the past there for a minute. But one big change is Como Harbor. This larger, more spacious pool is accessible to our animals year-round with a heated pool and a balmy 55. In saltwater, our animals have a better husbandry and better access to water throughout the year, which is really great. We also have multiple stages, meaning that we have multiple areas to train our animals. You saw Cash was able to get some practice up here. He is the shyer of our 2 harbor seals, so that was a really big step for him to be in front of a big crowd like that. And he did a great job, and now he's working and doing some more practice on the backstage. It's almost like we have 3 Sparky shows happening at the same time, since we have 3 animals training simultaneously. Some other things that have changed is how we train and why we train. Initially in the 1950s, when the Sparky Show started, training was really geared toward guest entertainment, which based on the reactions, I think we're still doing it. And absolutely, Subi and her amazing swimming skills are absolutely worth giving a big round of applause for, or as we like to call it here at Como Harbor, a seal of approval. So thank you. All right. Now, our pinnipeds are pretty awesome to watch, and it is very entertaining, and I'm glad you are excited about them. I want you to be excited about pinnipeds, just like we are here. But the reason we train isn't for those oohs and ahs. Those are just a cool bonus. We train for something called animal husbandry, which is a fancy word for animal health care. Who here gets really excited to go to the doctor? I got a couple. How about the dentist? Subi's pretty stoked. All right. I know I get a little nervous. But since I'm a people and so is my doctor, we can talk to each other. I can tell my doctor how I'm feeling, and my doctor can tell me what's going to happen. Hey there, Nico. Yeah, that's right. That's not your spot, dude. Sorry. All right. Sometimes Subi has to remind him where he's supposed to be. So that's why he's got a training buddy. All right. But our animals aren't able to. Let's give them a round of applause really quick. They're doing fantastic. Well, at least Subi is. We have a 7-year-old. 7-year-olds are still learning. So, all right. Now, I get nervous when I go to the doctor, but since I'm a people, I can talk to my doctor, so I can say how I'm feeling, and my doctor can tell me what's going to happen. On the other hand, animals can't do that. As you heard Subi's dulcet tones, she doesn't speak people. We need a different way to communicate, and training is a great way for our animals to understand what might happen in a healthcare procedure, but also to have them practice. It allows them to also engage in everyday health checks, so we can make sure things are working exactly as they should. On that note, I see Subi's doing a great job training all of you today. So that was really nice. She's got that applause cue trained down really well. So we want to make sure that our animals are able to engage in those healthcare procedures. And while some of the things you just saw might look silly, it was a way for us to ask our animals to demonstrate their range of motion, both in and out of the water, as well as helping us present different parts of their bodies, like open their mouths, or show us their flipper, or be comfortable sitting still so we can touch them and check for lumps or bumps that ought not to be there. Our pinnipeds participate in not just voluntary eye drops and even toothbrushing. They'll also participate in voluntary vaccines, blood draws, x-rays, and ultrasounds, making all of those procedures a lot safer and more comfortable for animals and people alike, which is really great. How we train has also changed over the years. We use something called operant conditioning with positive reinforcement, which is a lot of big words, but we learned pinnipeds, so we've got this, okay? And all that means is when the zookeepers asked for a behavior and the animals did it, they were told they did it right, and then they got a reward or reinforcement, making it more likely for them to do it the next time they're asked. You might have used this training method yourself at some point in your life. Perhaps you've asked someone to clean their room or pick up their toys. Children, has this ever happened to you? Yes, and then you did it right away, right? All right, well, training's not a straight line, so thank you for being honest. That was good. All right, so when you did clean up your stuff, did a grown-up tell you something like thank you or good job? Yeah, oh, I hear some no's. Ooh, trainers, keep it in mind, okay? All right, and then you probably, maybe adults, have you ever sweetened the deal? Maybe you had like a allowance or extra screen time that you offered in exchange for that behavior? Yes, oh kids, oh I hear some no's. All right, so trainers, please keep this in mind. This training practice works for animals of all shapes and sizes. Although I should warn you, hamper behaviors and spouses are harder to train. So I've been working on that one myself. So, all right, now here, we don't give an allowance to our animals. They have nowhere to store money except a riverbank, and that doesn't make any sense. So instead, they get fish. Pinnipeds eat about 10 pounds of fish every single day. So Nico, the big guy, this last summer, he ate over 27 pounds of fish in a single day. And you thought feeding a teenager is hard. So yeah, our 7-year-old is a growing boy indeed. So we need to make sure to get them that food. In the wild, they hunt all day long. Here we replicate that by having them have lots of little training sessions to replicate a natural feeding behavior throughout the day. It also helps us reinforce training by practicing multiple times a day. Practice makes perfect. And it gives us a chance to share that with all of you, which is really exciting. It also encourages natural behaviors in our animals. Do you think in the wild, Subi would need to lift her butt up way in the air? Maybe not so much, I'm sure. Not a lot of need for that in the wild. But would she have to use all of her muscles? Absolutely, to avoid predators like killer whales or sharks. And would she have to use her brain to solve problems? Totally. She'd have to be able to find and catch her food. Here, Como Harbor is shark-free, and they get catering every day, but we still want them challenging their minds and their bodies. Training is a great way for us to achieve all of that. Another part of our training is it is entirely voluntary and choice-driven. We did have our 7-year-old Nico doing some training today, and if anyone has ever seen a 7-year-old in the wild, I can tell because I already see them exercising their minds and bodies. So here, when our 7-year-old decided he was done, everybody was done to make sure everyone ended on a safe and comfortable note and was excited to train next time. So we do multiple training sessions every day, and we want them to be excited each time. Now I've got a mission for some of you during your visit today, but I don't have any fish for you. I'm so sorry. I want you to take a look and see if you can find around the zoo other places we do training like this with other kinds of animals. It's not just our pinnipeds. We're taking a blood draw from a 1,000-pound polar bear to target training a tortoise to check its weight. We use this training all over the zoo, so see what you can find. And if you saw something cool, I heard lots of oohs and ahs, or you learned something new, share it with somebody who isn't here, so I can spread the word about pinnipeds a little bit further. If you have any questions, come on down. I love your tiger shirt, very cool. And come on down if you have a cool animal shirt, I'd love to see it. Have a great rest of your visit, and thank you for joining us today.